The adoption hall of Station 9 orbit smelled faintly of ozone and metal, as if loneliness had a scent of its own. Small clusters of alien children sat behind glass barriers, each in a designated meeting pod where potential guardians came to interview them. Some kids chatted excitedly, flashing smiles at every passerby. Some sat quietly, pretending not to watch the families who walked past. And then there was her, a tiny Rellerie girl, scales the color of pale moonlight, sitting alone on a bench too big for her. Her silver eyes were wide, glassy, and far too old for someone who couldn't be more than 10. Her name was Sira, and nobody wanted her. A human attendant tried to encourage her. "Give it time, sweetheart. Someone will come." Sarah didn't answer. The words hurt too much. She whispered instead, barely audible, "Nobody wants to adopt me. I'm broken." She pulled her knees closer to her small chest. Her tail wrapped around her legs, as if trying to protect her from a world that had already decided she wasn't worth the trouble. To most aliens, Rellerie were difficult. Their biology was complicated, their emotions unpredictable, and their culture too war-touched. Many were orphans of border skirmishes, their parents lost in conflicts. The galaxy preferred to forget. Nobody wanted war. Orphans, nobody wanted the girl who shook at loud noises. Nobody wanted the child who had nightmares so bad she couldn't sleep alone. Nobody, except someone she hadn't met yet. Someone walking into the hall with a faint limp and deliberate, steady steps. Someone human, the veteran Marcus Hale, age 42, Earthborn. Retired fleet sergeant. His left leg was cybernetic from the knee down. A gift from a plasma grenade on Arcturus V. His right arm bore scars that looked like melted metal. He carried himself like someone who had survived too many battles and expected very little kindness from the world. This was his third visit to the adoption hall. Previously, he had walked away empty-handed, not because he didn't want a child, but because the families there didn't want him. Veterans made people nervous. Trauma made adoption boards nervous. Humans, death welders, made many aliens outright terrified, but Marcus didn't care. He wasn't looking for a child people found easy. He was looking for someone who needed him, someone who reminded him of the soldiers he couldn't save. Someone like the tiny girl sitting alone in meeting pod 6. The first meeting Sarah didn't look up when he sat down across from her. "Hey," Marcus said softly. She flinched hard at his voice. Marcus didn't move, didn't speak again, didn't lean forward. The way most people did. He just waited, like a soldier waiting for a scared recruit to peek out of a bunker. Slowly, carefully, Sarah lifted her eyes and froze. "You're human," she whispered, scales prickling nervously. "That's what the doctors say." Marcus replied with a warm smile. She didn't smile back. Instead, she whispered what she had whispered so many times before. "Why are you here? Nobody wants to adopt me." Marcus tilted his head. "Who told you that?" "Everyone," she wanted to say, but her throat tightened. "They don't say it," Sarah answered. "But they look at me like I'm dangerous, like I'm trouble." Marcus inhaled deeply. "I know that look." Sarah blinked. "You do." He tapped the metal of his leg. "People look at me like that too." She stared at his cybernetics, then back to his eyes. For the first time, she didn't look scared, just curious. "Does it hurt?" she whispered. Sometimes, Marcus said quietly. Sometimes the body hurts. Sometimes the memories hurt. But pain isn't the same as being unworthy. Syrah's breath hitched. She didn't know what to say to that. Marcus leaned back slightly. Syrah, I'm not here because I want a perfect kid. I'm here because I want you. All of you. Even the scared parts. Especially the scared parts. Her lip trembled. You want me? Marcus nodded once, steady and sure. Syrah's hands slowly unclenched, as if a weight had slipped from her tiny shoulders. The adoption 3 days later. The adoption papers were finalized. The board questioned Marcus on everything: his trauma, his past, his income, his mental health, but every time they hesitated, Syrah would grip his sleeve and whisper, "Please don't leave." Marcus never once flinched. "I'm not going anywhere," he told her, when the final approval came through. Syrah stared at the paper as if it were a miracle written in ink. "You're my family now?" she asked with trembling hope. Marcus gently ruffled her head crest. "Yeah, kid, I'm your dad now." She launched herself at him, tiny arms wrapping round his neck, and for the first time in years, Marcus felt something inside his chest thaw. The attack 2 weeks after Syrah came home. The trouble came, not from the girl, but from the people who had hurt her in the past. A violent faction of Ralari extremists, the same group that had destroyed her village, tracked her down. They believed orphans belonged with their own kind, even if it meant taking them by force, and they hated humans, especially humans who adopted. Ralari children. The attack hit Marcus's housing block at night. Silent and surgical, they blew the apartment door open. Sarah woke up screaming. Marcus was already up, cybernetic leg braced, rifle in hand. He shouted, "Syrah, behind me." She ran to him, shaking uncontrollably. The intruders, 3 heavily armed Ralari, stepped inside. "Surrender the child," their leader hissed. "Humans have no right." Marcus didn't aim his weapon at them. He aimed it at the ground between them. "If you try to take her," he said with quiet fury, "you'll have to get through me. And I promise you won't." One of the attackers snarled. "A human veteran protects a Ralari child. Pathetic." Marcus didn't move an inch. "You want to know what's really pathetic?" he growled. "Thinking blood makes a family. Love makes a family. Choice makes a family. And I choose her." Sarah grabbed his arm, voice barely audible. "Daddy, please don't leave me." That word, Daddy, ignited something primal inside. Marcus. The attackers moved. Marcus moved faster. Human reflexes were legendary. Death World reflexes even more so. He fired a warning shot, then charged with brutal precision. His cybernetic leg slammed into one attacker, sending him crashing into the wall. He deflected a plasma blade with the metal of his forearm. He shielded Sarah with his body, even as a blast grazed his shoulder. He fought like a man who had already lost everything once and refused to lose again. In less than a minute, all 3 attackers were on the floor alive, but disarmed and restrained, and Marcus stood between them and Syrah, breathing hard but unbroken. Aftermath security forces arrived. The attackers were arrested. Syrah was shaking violently, eyes full of terror, not for the fight, but because she feared Marcus might regret choosing her. She whispered, "I'm sorry. I caused danger. You could have died." Marcus knelt in front of her and cupped her cheeks gently. "Listen to me," he said softly. "None of this was your fault, and I'd do it again." 1,000 times, tears spilled down her scales. You really want me? Marcus pulled her into a warm, fierce hug. I didn't save your life tonight, he murmured. You saved mine the moment you let me be your dad. Sarah sobbed into his chest. For the first time in her life, she believed she wasn't unwanted. She was loved, she was home, and nothing in the galaxy would ever take her away from him again. Asterisk.